Howdy. This is going to be a demonstration on how to draw Avenger style holsters. This is the original tool set that I had put together on the shapes that I use. Several folks have responded well to this, and it's sort of, from my perspective, a way to get the symmetrical shapes that will produce a pleasing looking, symmetrical, as well as a safe holster. And these are used in conjunction with an established stitch pattern. So what I'm really here to show you today is that I've put together an accessory, or a set number 2, to be used in conjunction with some of these pieces to draw Avenger style holsters. And it's a real quick sort of process. The stitch traces that were developed by George at EDC to allow this to occur in a rapid fashion. So this is the original set. There's as you can see, a few pieces. The augmented set, or the new set, also uses some of the pieces in the first set and these 2 additional pieces. And they can be used to draw a symmetrical or asymmetrical Avenger style holster. So how they're used, and I'm going to do the first demo I'm going to do is on a Glock. And the reason that this stitch trace looks as it does is because Glock says that if we use the shape of their pistol, we're violating their intellectual property standards, and they sent a cease and desist letter in pretty short order about using the shape of their pistol. So what I do is, because I want to be able to have a visual reference of what the gun will actually look like, is I'll take this, or you can take this, and line up a couple of points, like the front sight and the rear sight, like so. And I'll go ahead and trace the outline of the gun, because I want to be able to see what that holster is going to look like from a visual perspective. It just helps me visualize the holster better. So in essence, that's what you got, something that looks like that. Okay, now the first portion for a symmetrical pattern is I'm going to line it up so I have, again, my 1 inch of, or as close as I can to 1 inch of grip clearance. And also, I don't want to intrude into the mag release button area. So I'll use this as my square to make sure that that's sitting relatively square. So I'm going to line up this piece with my center line, and then that sits square on top of that. So that being said, I've got clearance for my mag release button and my wing. And this first one is going to be a symmetrical sort of pattern. So I'm just going to trace that like so. That gives me the mouth and throat area of my holster. I'm going to set this holster at a 5-degree angle, and I'm going to use an 1.5-inch belt loop. Well, maybe I'll use 1 3/4 on this one. So I'm going to drop that right in there, draw my holes, trace around that. Making sense so far? And I want just again about 2 stitches or so from my wing to my stitch line, and depending on what sort of graceful curve you want, you can put it on like that, or you can do it like this. So really it's just kind of up to you what you want the wing of your holster to look like. Now for this one, I'm going to put a little bit of a sweat shield on it. So I'm going to go up about yay high, and you see this, I have a consistent distance here. I don't know if you do it this way. I have a consistent distance here and pretty close here, so I'm centered on the slide. So if I line that right up there like so, and you see how it protrudes past the end. Well, we know from geometry that the shortest distance between 2 lines or 2 points is a straight line, but with curves it's a longer distance, so that's why that protrudes just a little bit beyond the throat of the holster. I got something off here. There we go. So now I'm going to put my sweat shield on. I'm not going to go all the way to the top because I don't think it's necessary on most guns. And if it's a shorter version, I don't have to worry about it folding over quite as much. So that's going to give me my consistent curve, top and bottom. This is going to be rounded just like so. So I have my holster body and my stitch line. I'm going to put this at about a 5-degree angle. So 5 degrees. So that's going to be my stitch line on my, if you took a pencil and drew that all the way out, it would look like that. And that's 5 degrees like so. So you have your belt line, you've got an 1-inch grip clearance, you've got the muzzle covered, your wing. The wing is geometrically established with your throat piece and your stitch line, so the belt would look like that. So here's your 5 degrees angle from this, and it's basically done now. So for a geometric shape, I'm going to cut this out like so, fold this over onto this half, trace it out, and the pattern is done. So I'll shut the camera off and do that real quick, and you'll see the result. Okay, as I've traced the outside, I have my stitch line here in the or my center line. I cut this out. I fold this over like so, and this is going to be a geometric shape, or I'm sorry, a symmetrical holster, so that means it's the same on both sides. And that works really good for some guns that have ambidextrous mag release buttons, etc. on it. There's my mirror image. I'm going to cut that out. Put her on pause here for a second. Okay, I finished cutting that out, and as you can see, the pattern is basically done. So it can be a left hand or a right hand. If I'm going to wrap it around the gun like so, I can get a visual on what it's going to look like in terms of how it's going to fit inside and how the holster is going to look. There you have it. So I'll do another video clip on a commander in a little bit, so you can see another example of it. And that's all for now. Thank you.